The Sacramento Kings just took their second loss in a row, this time at the hands of the Los Angeles Lakers. The game prior to that, it was the Denver Nuggets, where they lost 130 to 129. Now, this 113 to 100 loss to the Lakers has everybody, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people asking the same question. What's wrong with the Sacramento Kings? Find out next with your host, Mark Haynes, right here on the Believe in Kings podcast. Coming up. Some are calling this the worst loss of the season. I think that's a little extra. I don't think this is the worst, but I think this was a really bad effort by the Kings. I think this was a winnable game, just like the Denver Nuggets game was a winnable game. Excuse me. But for whatever reason, the Kings can't make things work. They keep falling short. They keep having one quarter where they're just a really, really bad team. It feels like every night, every game they play in, it's going to be one quarter. They're playing competitive basketball for 3 quarters. But then sometimes lately it's been in the first quarter. I think the Denver Nuggets got off to a 41 to 21 start. Um, the Lakers, I believe it was 37 to 28. You know, they're allowing teams to score a lot of points in certain quarters. I remember earlier in the season, it was the fourth quarter where they were scoring like 15 and 17 points, and so it's like either they're playing defense and slowing or excuse me, not they're playing defense. People are locking them up, or they're just letting the other team score a crazy amount of points. A 28-point quarter should have you right there, but you can't allow the Lakers to score 37. And when you look at that game, and I ain't gonna spend too much time on this game because it's not really worth it. I'm sure they're moving on. Actually, I take that back. They're probably not moving on because the very next game, which is tomorrow, Saturday, so it's late, early, whatever it is right now. But Saturday, they play the Los Angeles Lakers again at the Golden One Center. So they got to do this all over again. But when you look at what they did to the Los Angeles Lakers, they held them to 113, right? The Lakers shot 40% from the field, 40, and shot 36 from three. Obviously, this is a team that gets to the free throw line. They shot 30 free throws, knocked down 25. That was a big part of, getting this victory. But the Kings outshot them from the field and from the three. They were 15 to 22 from the free throw line, which is not really good. But that wasn't why they lost this game. And it's weird because I bet this is the first time this season. And I might be wrong because the Kings have lost some interesting games this year. But where they led and they beat the other team, they beat the Lakers in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. The Kings shot 45% from the field and 37.9% from downtown. I don't really when I'm looking at the stats, I don't really understand how you lost this game. Well, I know why they lost the game. It's mainly because of one man, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was a beast. He was the best player on the court. Although he was 7 of 20 from the field and shot 35%, he got to the line 9 times, made 7 free throws, but he had I'm on according to NBA.com, the stat sheet I had 20. He had a 2020 game, but according to NBA.com, so I guess the stat sheet was off. I remember at one point the third quarter score said like 86-84 or something, and it was actually 86-80 or something like that. But yeah, AD had 21 points, 19 rebounds, 6 blocks, 3 steals, and 4 assists. He was the best player on the court. And I expect probably Saturday he'd probably be the best player on the court again. But the things that the Kings are just, doing wrong, like it's I don't think it's things that they really have a lot of control over with certain teams, like this Laker team. This Laker team, they're big, they have a lot of size, they have a lot of you know, athleticism and they played, let's see, they played one, what's that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They played 9 players at least 10 minutes or more. And you go to the Sacramento Kings and 5, 6, 7. Their rotation is at 7. They got 7 guys that basically played. Alex Len played 4 minutes. Isaac Jones played 4 minutes. They play the same position. So you add them together, they don't even reach 10. So I think the problem is the rotations. I think the rotations have to be crisp. But when you're dealing with a struggling team, me saying that is not saying, oh, I'm not pointing the finger at Mike Brown, saying, oh, his rotations is trash. That's why they're losing. He's looking for a rotation that's going to work. He's looking for a rotation that can get them victories. And they're 26 games in, and they're still figuring that out. And that's alarming. That's alarming. And that's why people are panicking. Now, the other thing about the rotation, you can look all you want, but is it actually there? Is there a rotation that you can figure out that's going to win you ball games? And in the post game interview, Mike Brown talked some about that. He talked about guys are, those of you who know Mike Brown, he has his players, sign a contract, accepting certain roles and whatnot. And he, saying this is what you go do. I promise to do this, da 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 da, blah blah blah. But right now, he doesn't believe that his team is playing hard enough right now. He's unsure if his team wants it enough right now, and fans are thinking the same thing. We see the game. We all have questions. But I'm gonna read a quote from Mike Brown on his team doing a lot of talk and no action. He said, "No, we're not seeing it action-wise. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, I didn't yell at the guys because there's nothing to yell about. They know exactly what we have to do, whether or not we go to do it. And tonight, we didn't go do it. And so somehow, some way, again, starts with me. Somehow, some way, I got to figure out how to get them to do it by continuing to drill it, by continuing to show them on film. And if need be, I got to try to find somebody else that can do it." Now, some people took that as find somebody else as in via trade. That wasn't my initial thoughts. My initial thoughts of was searching on, searching on the bench. Maybe shuffling some guys around. Maybe the starting lineup would change again. You know, but I mean, at the same time, finding somebody outside of the organization currently, something has to happen. Something has to happen. I'm a ponder on, the idea of trades and stuff or whatever and how it could work. I know a name that keeps popping up is last night when I talked to multiple people, everybody keeps saying Cam Johnson, Brooklyn Nets want this and that. We could get Cam Johnson. And a lot of times it seems like teams are getting good players, via trade for a bag of chips. And maybe some dip. A lot of times they ain't even got to throw in the dip. So could the Sacramento Kings go out there and get somebody without really losing much? Now, if I'm the GM, if I'm Monty McNair, I'm on the phone. I'm calling, I'm checking. I'm like, hey, do you want some draft picks? Because the thing is, you bring in DeMar DeRozan, 36 years old. He's here to win. He didn't come to this team to be a part of a rebuild. He's only got a few more years left, like realistically. Like he's struggled the last 2 games, so I'm not gonna, I'm not go this ain't gonna be the episode where I, jump all over, DeMar and how he's playing because I think it's bigger than that. But at the end of the day, he's here in hopes of winning. And when I say winning, and I think I speak for him, I don't think he meant, oh, come here and win games and make it to the playoffs or make it into the play-in. I think when he signed here, I think he looked at the team and was like, I think we can win a championship. If I'm on that roster, I think we can win a championship. But I don't think anybody's thinking that at this moment. And if they are going to start thinking about it, they have to figure out a clever way to shake things up. I say that. A clever way to shake things up. Whether it's, changing the starting lineup, whether it's figuring out who can you go get for a bag of chips and some dip. Or if you're going to make a real trade, if you're going to trade, I think if you make a deal, a significant deal that will change, the season around, I think you have to include one of your starters. And that's the part that I'm sure the organization is real hesitant about because, you're going to change everything. You get rid of one starter, you're going to change everything. And people be like, oh, you could trade this guy and this guy to get, Cam Johnson or whoever. And it's like, you gotta remember the other team has to want what you're offering. And I think a deal potentially is out there, but it's gonna take some real searching, to find something that makes sense. That makes sense in winning now. Because if you're not trying to win now, if you're not trying to win this season, what's the point of going and getting DeMar DeRozan? I wouldn't understand that. But the Sacramento Kings they're in trouble. I'll say that. They're in trouble. This is a point where, decisions has to be made. People have to look themselves in the mirror and you got to get things going. Like tomorrow night, you got to get a win against the Lakers. You can't let the Lakers come to your home and in a span of 3 days beat you twice on your home court. That's unacceptable. And after the game, we also talked to De'Aaron Fox. And I asked him what he's doing personally to motivate his team to to get things on track, to hold themselves accountable. I asked him how is he holding himself accountable as a leader to get to those guys and motivate them. And here's what De'Aaron Fox had to say. He said, I mean, at some point, especially in this conference, you keep losing games like this, and then we go look back like my bad. I'm sitting there with my phone again. But he said, I mean, at some point, especially in this conference, you keep losing games like this, and then we look back like last year, and you're on the outside looking in. So just letting guys know, like we keep talking about how good of a team we think we could be, and this and that. But until we're able to roll off some consistent wins, or be consistent as a team like that, it means nothing. So the message is definitely out there. Just like Mike Brown said, he's going to continue to drill the same message into the guys. These are professionals. It was like, I don't need to yell. You see, it's funny. It looks funny if you ever, I don't know how much they show Mike on TV, but when you're at the game and you look at it, you just see like all the time, Mike Brown is just kind of standing there with his hands in his pocket. And it's hilarious, but I understand like these guys, he has, especially in that starting lineup or whatever, he has guys that have been around. He has guys that know how to play basketball. There's no need of yelling. He he basically said every time out, he's like, if it was a microphone in there, you would hear him say the same thing every time out. We got to box out. We got to box out. Not boxing out led to Anthony Davis getting dang near 20 rebounds. And to me, like I said, Anthony Davis was the reason the Lakers won that game. They couldn't slow him down, and it cost them. It was a winnable game, just like against the Denver Nuggets. It's a winnable game. And the one thing that the Sacramento Kings, I feel like, aren't understanding is that when you're playing against, I'm not, like I said last episode, I don't think the Lakers are a great team, but they have experience. They have guys that's won championships, obviously multiple championships. LeBron James, one of the greatest of all time. They have guys that know how to manage games. And most good teams, Denver, same thing. They know how to manage games. They know how to stay in a fight and turn it into a 12-round boxing match. The Kings can't allow it to be a 12-round match. The Kings have to start going out there and knocking dudes out early. And what I mean by that, I feel like the Sacramento Kings, they show up, they say the right things. They do the right things at times. But a good team and a solid team like the Lakers. So if you're solid or better, they're not giving away victories. You have to go take it. And this season, the Sacramento Kings aren't taking victories. They're showing up, they're staying in the game, and they're saying, I hope the other team messes up so we can light the beam. Instead of saying, I'm about to take this dub. Like Jameis Winston. You see that? We gonna eat a dub. Like, you gotta go get it. You gotta go get it, man. And that's what the Kings aren't doing. And there's a lot of directions we could point and say, oh, this why and this why, blah, blah, blah. But until they all get on the same accord and understand that, this is, especially in the Western Conference, it's a dogfight every single night. There are no easy games. Every win, if you want to make it into we talking about the play-in now. I thought at the beginning of the season, I thought this team would be right now in a position to be a playoff team in a playoff spot. But right now, we're talking about the play-in. There's no reason that the Kings can't make some adjustments and unleash unleash the dog, loosen up the leash, and be some dogs and go get in this play in. They have everything they need, but it's going to take a team effort. And if they don't succeed, it won't be because of one person. And I'm not saying that to take up for anybody, but when I see, when I see them lose games like against the Lakers and Denver or whatever, there's not one person I could say should take most of the blame. This is a team effort. At the end of the day, like I said, in the Western Conference, they're not giving away wins. You got to go take it. And if you ain't gonna take it, you'll be watching postseason basketball again. And that's all I got today. We'll see what happens. I might make practice to see how the mood is, which I imagine the mood is not so well, but that has to change because you got another game, get another crack at that same team, get another chance to make LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the rest of them shoot, 40%. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you got another chance. And that's all you need in this league is a chance. As long as you got a chance, it's a possibility of getting a W. But these W's have to start coming now because they are 12-14, below 500, approaching the midway point of the season. The Kings got to get it together. But hopefully, like us, the Believe in Kings pod, I had a better way of saying it, but I couldn't get it out because maybe I don't know if y'all believing in the Kings right now. But if you are believing in the Kings, I think, which I still do, I think this is going to be a playing team right now. Hopefully, later on we could upgrade them to a playoff team. But I think with the veterans, and we'll see what the leadership, like how far they can go. We'll see that. But that's all I got for this episode of the Believe in Kings podcast. I'm your host, Mark Haynes. Make sure you follow me on social media. You see it right there at Mark Haynes NBA. Anything social media, YouTube, whatever, it's all going to be under that name. So until next time, which will probably be in the next 24 hours, it's the Believe in Kings podcast. And I'm out.